Okay, so I think we can start the meeting. So good morning, everyone. I'm happy to host some invited guests, and today we'll have the discussion or the learning from Finland. And as I mentioned, because of the change in our timing, Singapore were not able to join us this time, unfortunately, but we are recording. And Alexander, you asked about the previous recording. We just discussed that. We'll find it. It's our miss that we haven't sent it out, but we will send it out. Maybe we'll send out really the recording of all our sessions so that it's all in one place and we can all watch them. So this is also recorded and will be shared with everyone. And I think we can start with you, Annalena.
Okay, thank you. So yes, so as mentioned, I will go through briefly about Business Finland food tech related activities and so briefly also about the food tech startup scene in Finland, and then Emilia will continue about the research and development side of Finland. So, and I think we have 1 hour of time, isn't that so? So we will half an hour each, roughly. Okay.
Roughly, yes.
Yeah. So let's start. Can you see my screen?
Not yet.
Not yet. Somehow it doesn't let me share. It's a sort of a grayish.
Aviv, can you allow the sharing?
I think it's supposed to one, but it's
on the share screen button. There's
it shows that
still not. Arrow. Can you see now?
No.
No.
There's like a small arrow.
It shows that it's open from our side.
Multiple?
Yeah, multiple.
We're not seeing.
Oh, now it's dark blue. Now I can share. So yeah.
Okay.
Can you see this now?
Yes.
Yes, we can see.
Good.
Perfect.
So, Finland and food tech cooperation in Finland. First, a few words about business in Finland. I know we went through this at the beginning of the food tech group at the beginning of the year, but I still go briefly so to have a background. So, Business Finland is part of the Ministry of Labor and Economy, a public operator, and targeting to sort of create prosperity and well-being for Finland, especially by supporting Finnish competitiveness and sustainable economic growth. And we are publicly funded. So this is briefly Business Finland. We are part of the Team Finland network. Team Finland means different public actors in Finland, both regional and national. There are 2 ministries who are part of it, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Actually 3, you could say, Ministry of Agriculture as well, even though it's not mentioned on the slide. But they are part of this as well. And then also Ministry of Foreign Affairs. So 3 ministers part of the Team Finland network, and then regional actors as well, and Finnvera, who is a funding operator in Finland. So we are part of that and one of the key players of Team Finland network. We are having 760 people working for Business Finland, 16 offices in Finland, and 37 global offices. You can see the locations on this slide, so where our offices are. There will be a major change coming to this. Our international network will be moved at some stage during next year under Ministry of Foreign Affairs. So this is creating a little bit of a hassle at the moment within Business Finland. So it will be a big move because this is an essential part of operations, but we'll see how all this is going to continue, probably as a Team Finland cooperation also afterwards. And what is Business Finland doing? So we provide funding for research, development and innovation. This is a big part of our activities. We also support exports and internationalization of Finnish companies throughout our network outside of Finland, and also in Finland we have different services for Finnish companies, advice and consulting and so on. And we also create different networks and ecosystems to sort of have a sort of more impact and speed up the cooperation of Finnish companies together to make it more efficient. Ecosystems is quite a new way of working at Business Finland, and the meaning is to sort of through cooperation have more impact. Invest in Finland organization is part of Business Finland too, and as well as is Visit Finland, the travel promotion board. New-ish unit is also Work in Finland unit to attract international specialists to work in Finland. So that's also something that is developing fast as a service within Business Finland. And a new way is also since a few years is to organize all the activities of Business Finland under missions. You can see here the 5 main missions, which are based on thematic focus areas. There's Diginative Finland, Zero Carbon Future. Healthcare is the latest one. Then Circular Transition and Immersive Digital Life. These themes have been selected based on, first of all, the strong points of Finland, what we have the know-how and capabilities to develop, but also to areas which are focusing on sustainable development and sort of offering the most potential for Finnish companies to internationalize and to export activities. Finland is a small country, and it is very important for us to be part of international networks and sort of part of the international change and international value chains as well. So all these missions are focusing to international markets in the end of the day, even though there are a lot of activities happening before them, developing companies, funding different RDI projects and so on. But in the end, the uttermost target is to internationalize under these different themes. And about the Business Finland funding to companies. So we funded last year 726 million granted for companies. Applications came more than that. And most of it goes to companies, but also for research is 127 million dedicated for various research-related projects. The company division, so who we are funding, startups 94 million. The largest one is large companies, 184 million anyway. But and business funding. Business funding means actually funding other than for innovation and research. It's kind of for market studies, for exhibition support if companies are participating to export exhibitions outside of Finland, so they can ask for support for that, and different sort of market analysis and so on. So that is a small part of our fundings as well. But this R&D funding will significantly increase in the coming years, because there is now a new roadmap, RDI roadmap in Finland. Finland globally aims to increase R&D expenditure to 4% of the gross GDP by 2030. So it's quite a big increase. And there is now the quite concrete target set also in Business Finland to obtain this. But it's not only public funding that needs to sort of get this amount together. It's also private funding is needed. This target will only be reached if the private spending of R&D will increase and account for almost 2/3 of the total. So it's sort of public can help, but most of the efforts have to come from the private side. So this is something that is sort of everybody is focusing at the moment.
So when you talk about the private and the public, it means that the companies that will get the grant will bring in matching from private
Yes,
sector.
yes. So that they get the grant or loan or whatever, and then they have to invest themselves as well. Usually 50%, but it depends on the support form. But yes, so they will have to invest themselves. So this is to activate the R&D activities in Finland generally. So this targets that the public sector is helping, but the private sector has to sort of make an effort themselves as well. And well, other funding sources is also, of course, this European program and networks. Business Finland is supporting companies to sort of to apply for these fundings. This is getting also more active within Business Finland, that we have to sort of be more active in applying these EU fundings and participate to these programs so than until now. So this is also part of the 4% target, that we will sort of activate all these EU funding participations as well.
And not to interrupt you, but I think maybe this is something that we can further discuss later on. I think that it's one of the goals of all of us, and maybe we can find a way to partner and create the right consortiums
Yes.
to be able to apply for this. So maybe from our networks we can create a consortium.
Absolutely, because in many of these EU fundings, it's good to have also countries outside of EU being part of the consortiums to expand. So yeah, that's a good idea.
We're actually an associated country, so we can apply for all the Horizon grants as well.
Okay, yeah.
In the Horizon, if I'm not mistaken, it's supposed to be a minimum of 3 countries, and in our consortium, I think it's a good thing to examine how we can do it.
Yeah, Eleanor is here with us. Eleanor,
hi.
Hi.
And Alina, I think we actually met at a meeting with Nati at Future for Foods. We talked about it in August about the partnership. Yeah.
Yes.
So I'm from ISERD, the Israel Europe Research and Innovation Directorate, and actually we are at the Israel Innovation Authority in charge of promoting the participation in Horizon Europe. And my themes include the Cluster 6 destinations 1 and 2 and so on. But definitely we can work on that. And if you'd like, we can have another a meeting between both of us to see.
I think maybe for
all of us.
In the Earth Forum,
Yeah.
we should have a future agenda to bring in the representatives from the different countries of the Horizon and maybe discuss.
Yes, because we also have colleagues who are specialized on this Horizon funding, and so they are the best person to include also into the discussion. So yes,
it sounds really good, and thank you. We would love to cooperate and
Great. So
do
it's a
that.
follow-up action item for us.
yeah.
Okay. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, not at all. It's good to have a
No.
discussion, and please don't hesitate. You can interrupt me anytime. So if there's something that comes up, so no problem. Well, a few words about the food tech in Finland then. So all in all, what you can say about food tech is that it's a very active and sort of innovative startup scenery in Finland at the moment, and has been during the last 10 years. It has been developing a lot in recent years, this sector. And the receiving private funding for startups has also been quite successful. We were 4th in Europe to have private funding for this. That was in 2022, so a couple of years ago. And for a while, it was mainly startup business, but now we are quite happy to realize that the traditional food companies and food corporations, they are also joining this development, that they are sort of getting interested in to participate to develop these kind of new food system related products and cooperations. And resilient food system is also one of the priorities in the EU, so that's also sort of supporting the food tech sector all globally. And why Finland then regarding food tech? So we have been building this food tech ecosystem since 1 decade, as mentioned. And we also have a top-level education and research at the universities and research institutes. Technology is kind of Finland is a nation of nation of engineers, and we are kind of a technically orientated nation, as I believe all of these Earth 5 countries are. And the food science level, the competence level is, especially in cellular agriculture, is very high, and as well as in delivery technologies. So there is a lot sort of know-how in Finland. And this is quite busy slide, but there you can see on the left-hand side, starting from there, so the actors of the food tech scene in Finland. So the public, Team Finland players there, Business Finland, Finnvera, etc. Then accelerators, investors, corporations who are already in this. I mentioned there, Valio, Paulik, Fazer, Orkla, Atria, HK Scan, so they are all sort of made their first steps with this food tech scenery, and quite, as I said, lively group of startups. And Emily, I'm sure, will tell more about these kind of spin-offs of VTT. Many of those are originated from VTT research work. So this is briefly about food tech. Food tech sector development targets in Finland. So we have already actually taken the planning and next steps to build a national hub or ecosystem around food tech and future food systems at the moment. We are defining the focus sectors, what will be the sort of the main interest for Finland. Of course, cellular agriculture and more traditional food tech, how to combine those. How to combine plant-based, animal-based, and sort of to the new ways of producing, especially cellular technology. And also how to further involve the larger companies to the development work. So it's on a good way, good start, but there is still a lot to do. And also how to sort of involve and make the science and technology closer to the activities what companies are doing, that it would be more sort of in the mindset that the development of new things. And also how to sort of encourage the cross-sectoral cooperation. Forest and paper industry in Finland is traditionally a strong one, and there are a lot of sort of, for example, side streams that already now are used in developing new ingredients for food, and also this hydrogen economy, quantum computing, and so on. You can also sort of mix and cross all these sectors to the food tech as well. So there is a lot to do. And then also target is to get more of these international fundings from EU and others. There is NSF funding from US, for example, that we are building up the offer at the moment. And also how to develop scalable cross-border technologies. This example here for various biomasses, for example. So there is, for example, a company called Origin by Ocean. So they are developing technology how to use algae sort of from the sea into food and feed ingredients, and also how to use it as an ingredient in cosmetic technology, for example. So there are quite interesting initiatives going on in Finland at the moment. And also especially then how to access to this global value chains as early as possible, and how to create international cooperation within the food tech sector. So this is what we've been listing here as the development targets with my colleagues at Business Finland, and also with the wider cooperation team. Well, Business Finland food and food tech funding last year, it was only 28 million. It's not very much if you think of the entire funding. But this year, this amount is already much bigger than the whole of last year. So this is developing fast. And also Business Finland for fundings for food tech, but then in addition to also EU fundings, there are a lot of applications going on, and also this, what I mentioned, this NSF funding application and offer is being built at the moment for US Business Finland is coordinating this funding for the US. And then these food tech focused ecosystem projects, the first ones are up and running. They are developing. I will tell more about one case example, this Value 2.0, what we have been mentioning before already. And also this research institute, this co-inno fundings with research institutes. So this is also an important part. And then a new sort of work that started a couple of weeks ago. It's called, kind of a working name is Change Path Evaluation Study. It's focusing on cellular agriculture, and it's done by VTT, University of Helsinki and Luke, funded by Business Finland and Ministry of Agriculture. And this is the target of this study is to sort of define what should be done in Finland to develop the food tech sector as efficiently as possible. So what should be done in different fields, like how to affect the political decisions to get the budget for this, and how to get into this international value chains early, and what are the sort of focus areas to study. Emilia can tell more about the contents of this, because she is actually heading the project from VTT side. So we are very much expecting the results of this study, because it will sort of give also us at Business Finland kind of a landmarks how to continue the food tech development work. So what should be done and where should we focus as well. And we are happy to tell also that this future food system is possibly the mission number 6 at Business Finland for next year. There is discussion and sort of a strategic planning going on for that, but we hopefully can confirm this later on. But very, very optimistic we are about that. So that would be very good, because the sort of food tech activities have now been kind of not under any of the 5 missions, but kind of loosely linked to many of those. So we are kind of a lonely child there. So if we get our own mission, so that would be very good. Examples about the ecosystems, food tech related ecosystems accelerated by Business Finland. Well, growth engine ecosystems is one form of those. That means that there are sort of there's one enterprise who is leading the partnership of several companies, research organizations, and can be also public actors involved. And the target is to sort of create solutions to global market disruptions and sort of to create new growth sectors. An example can be mentioned, Food Data Finland, for example. It's led by GS1, and which is an international organization, but this is GS1 Finland who is leading it. And the target is to bring together the sort of all the players of food chain, starting from primary production to food industry up to retail trade and also to consumers, and but through using standardized data and how to, for example, identify down to the specific farm where a product or ingredient comes from, and also to give the consumer the data and information about the products. At the moment, the work is focusing a lot on 2D barcodes, which could give at the first stage consumer information about the product, much more than you can actually put on the package of the product on the shelf. But through this 2D barcode, so that would give you sort of much more information about the product and the origins, and sustainability is there sort of also very important point of view, so that all this information is also including the sustainability issues of the product. So that's an example.
It's more for the product itself, for the food product itself. It's not as much for the manufacturing facility, you know, like IoT and stuff.
It's for the whole chain, but because it's quite a complex project to get all the players together and sort of standardize the information and get everybody motivated to join and involved. So the first step is now to give consumer more information at that level, from food industry to retail and to the product packaging and the code. But the target is to include the whole food chain into that. That's also, well, traceability is already on a good level in Finland, but this would give even more precise information up to the consumer. So it's quite complex project to explain because it's not so concrete yet. But by Googling that, so you can, they have quite good internet web pages, so there will be more information about that. But then another form of ecosystem work is this leading company challenge competition, they call it, which is the first one ever for food industry has just started in May. It's a Value of Food 2.0, and the ultimate target is to commit the whole ecosystem or the participants to this ecosystem to increase their RDI investments and also create new RDI jobs as well. And Valio is a leading Finnish food company. Actually, the leading. Valio at the moment is themselves alone. They are sort of in charge of 24% of Finnish food exports. So they are quite an international company. And sort of they have enough power and muscle to do this kind of work. The Value of Food 2.0 project is kind of an extensive RDI project. It's going to last 5 years from now on. And the target is to sort of create a sustainable production models. They call it nature smart food system. So everything is based on this sustainability. Business Finland is funding this project with 10 million for Valio plus 20 million for the ecosystem project. And then the companies are also, they should also sort of invest money themselves altogether, that the ecosystem would cover in the end 100 million euros. There's more of the structure in one of the coming slides. But what is this then all about? So the target is to build added value on sustainably produced food. And also the target is to combine in a balance these animal-based and plant-based and cell-based foods to create a sort of a future food system where all these sort of parts are smoothly cooperating and are part of the same system. It's to improve a circular economy, promote biodiversity, and also sort of improve the resource and data efficient technologies. So, and all these players who are participating to this food project, this Food 2.0 project, that they all would be sort of heading to a common goal. What is it then? The roadmap for this nature smart food system. So there are 4 main themes, which you can see on this triangle here. Theme number 1 is future products, whether they are animal or plant-based or then others. So how to sort of, what kind of products will we have in the future, products sustainably. Technology transformation is also theme number 2. Cellular agriculture, biomonitoring, and different gene technologies and so on are part of this. Regenerative production, theme number 3, improving biodiversity, water management, crop rotation, and also circular economy, then theme number 4. The target is to have 100 partners involved into this ecosystem, and actually this target is already sort of surpassed. I met the person in charge at Valio of this project, and she told me 2 weeks ago that they already have 117 companies who are already involved into this ecosystem. So that has created a lot of interest and started really in a speedy way. And I said,
Valio is a corporate. Valio is a corporate, is a private company that.
It's a state-owned, but it's a kind of state-owned food company, the leading one. Yeah.
Interesting.
And the ultimate target then is that this is contributing to 1 billion growth in Finnish food exports by 2032. So there are ambitious targets for this project, but this has created a lot of interest and sort of motivation to participate.
And the funding is it comes from the state, from the government, or through Valio, because they are state-owned?
No, it's working like a private company, so they are doing business. So it's not,
But
So-
the 100 million euros that you've mentioned here, investment in this project, is it additional 100 million euro from the government for these
No,
projects?
it's kind of all in all. The Business Finland
in
is
all.
giving this 10 plus 20 million, and then it's expected that Valio is giving themselves money into this, and also all these 100 plus companies are investing, that they are creating ecosystem projects and putting money there themselves, but also applying funding from Business Finland, from
From
EU,
Business
from
Finland.
private investors. That all in all, this RDA investment would be this 100 million, all combined.
Very interesting.
Yes, this is something completely new. So,
Mhm.
so this is kind of the first. On the right-hand side, there are already first concrete projects starting, support action from Valio for SMEs. So Anyfair, Food West, Suomen Lantakas, Oddly Good. But the concretely, what is this going to be? So joint development networks and visibility, so joint RDI projects. Funding can come from Business Finland or EU or somewhere else. And at the moment, there is active search of matching partners and linking companies for collaboration. And there's a lot of networking events and media publicity for this project going on to sort of achieve this goal. So so this is Valio. Here you can see this is not all the companies there because new ones are joining, but a good part of them who have already joined in different categories. There are energy and transport companies, food and feed manufacturers, digital data AI companies, research, financiers, consultant companies, and material companies. So that is quite a sort of a good group already together. Of course, this is the first discussions going on, and they have sort of committed to this, but concretely what is going to happen. So in 1 year's time, I think we will tell much more, but this is because this has been only up and running now since a few months, but starting really well. But that was from my part about Finland and Business Finland and food tech, and maybe I let Emilia continue with this RDI side. She's going to give the overview of Finnish food RDI strategy and also latest highlights related to alternative proteins and food ingredient solutions. So Emilia, I think the screen is yours. So thank you from my part.
Thank you, Annalena. Very enriching.
Thank you so
program.
much. Maybe should we jump in with some questions now or later? Should we listen to Emilia first or?
Yeah, I mean, up to you. So
Yeah, maybe it's a good time for some questions.
So just a few things. When you are measuring the 28 million that you sort of support from Business Finland side, how do you do that? Is that sort of from one budget, or is that sort of counted as all food-related investments?
it's sort of counted by it's mostly individual sort of companies who have been funded, or then sort of these co-innovation project with research institutes. So it's been kind of listed and counted all together. So
Yeah,
does-
it's
yeah.
not a budget from the food area or something like that. It's the combined all projects that are related to food.
Yes, so what was funded last year, and as said, so this year it's because of this value alone, so it's much bigger this year. But last year that was 28 million, and it's including fundings for startups, for any companies, and for research institutes, and so which are related to food or food tech.
Yeah, sometimes it's difficult to distinguish, I would say, if it's a sort of a food-related project or not, I guess.
Yes, you're right. This is actually handpicked by one of my colleagues who, because of that, it's difficult to sort of, where do you sort of put the cross at which industry does this one belong to? So he has done it one by one and gone through the fundings. And so that's a result, 28 million for last year.
Yes, thank you. That clarifies. And the other thing that I mean, there's lots of things that I'm thinking about, but one of the things that you mentioned was building a national hub. And the picture you were showing before that was with the sort of all the different bubbles, that you have incubators and that you have different aspects. You could see that as a hub or as a sort of a, but so that's one. Maybe you already have that hub, or at least on a concept, or is there also already competing national organizations? I mean, we have Food Tech Sweden, for instance, here. You have Finland Food Tech or something like that that also regard themselves as a hub, don't they? Or
no, we have of course VTT, who is doing the research work for it, but we see them more as our partner. So it's not at all competing, it's different, so very different focus. So what we mean by this hub is that these bubbles, what I was showing there, of course they do exist already, but the cooperation between the different parts of the bubble, that would be activated and sort of created like a cooperating hub. So maybe it means more than sort of activating the cooperating and doing things together and mainly having this target to get to the international markets. This is the sort of the ultimate goal of that one too. So to get to the international value chains and sort of develop the sector together.
Because when I presented what we're doing in Sweden, I mentioned that we are supporting what we call innovation platforms. You can look at them as a hub as well. They're sort of their entity on their own, and they're sort of their own organization in a way. Is that also what you're looking towards, that you are going to support a self-standing organization driving this?
I actually was thinking when you were sort of presenting and telling about these platforms that this is, at least I understood it the way that it's a little bit like we have in Business Finland these programs which are operating under these missions, because they are they have their own budgets and own sort of participants, and they are running the activities quite independently then as when they have their plans done. So it's different name, but I think the operational model is quite the same. So these programs are under Business Finland and under these 5 or hopefully 6 in the future. So that there are several programs under these themes, which are kind of umbrellas only. So they are nothing really concrete as themselves, but under these themes you have programs, or then smaller sort of smaller activities we call campaigns. The campaigns are 1 to 2 years only, and they are focusing on one specific market, for example. And so there are programs which are from 3 to 5 years, and then campaigns from 1 to 2 years, which are smaller, and they are under these umbrellas of what we call missions. So
yeah, okay. Thank you. It's interesting. And my final thought, when you showing the value example, I mean, we're also having what we're trying to take a system perspective on things. And when you see these kind of grand plans with the pyramid and all the pieces in place, you see a lot of research projects, I would say. But in order to create the change, you often need other things as well. For instance, behavioral change or changes in public information, for instance, that is not really a research and innovation project per se. What we see that we are doing a lot with our innovation platform is that we're working with policy and regulations, because that needs to be in place as well. Do you see this as well as part of the Valio project, that you also try to work on, for instance, policy and regulation aspects, and trying to solve issues in that domain?
This we see actually more as part of this upcoming sort of food tech work, what we are doing at Business Finland. We already have been in contact, for example, discussing with EFSA to find out about what to do with the slowness of the sort of acceptance processes there. So I don't think this is so much for Valio's thing, but it's more like this Business Finland work, as I see it at the moment. For example, that we are trying to do something for this. So yeah.
Thank you.
But we see that all this Valio is very much closely. We are actually helping these Valio ecosystem companies with our global team to find market potential outside of Finland. So there are that kind of activities that we are offering for Valio 2.0, for example, in addition to the funding.
Thank you so much.
I have a question. Maybe I'm sorry that I was late for joining. My name is Shachar from EatID. We're a startup that's helping any food service to know precise how much to produce in amount of variety and quantity for every meal based on food preferences of people. And for everybody that comes to eat in any major, maybe a hotel, events, in corporate dining, every place that serves food to a lot of people, to know exactly what the best dish based on their preferences. We created another layer to the ecosystem of discrete culinary profiles that allows people to get the best dishes for them without the need to disclose and tell outside people what their limitation and any personal details. So this is the idea. And there's we're applying for something if EatID Food, they have a grant submission next month. The question is, what is the best way to look for partners in Finland? Because we have major partners here, and we're looking for partners. Best way, which organizations, which, and sorry if you answered that.
Well, what should I say? So, well, you could contact me to start with, and then I can think about it and see a little bit what would it be. So,
okay.
Yeah, if you just send me an email, so we'll see what would be the best way to do that.
Okay, so generally, but startup that want to start to work, what's the best way for, again, we talk about government, we talk about big programs, how to look on the small entrepreneur that want to start to work with the ecosystem?
Because we at Business Finland, at least in this food and food tech team, so we work quite closely with the Finnish companies. We also have a startup unit at Business Finland, and they are actually talking with a food tech startup with all of them in Finland. So I could link to, for example, with them.
So the connection.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I can send so you can send me an email. So.
Okay.
So then, and we can progress. I introduce my colleagues at startup unit to start with. Maybe that's a good way to start.
All right.
Great, thank you. Okay, any other questions before we move on?
Actually, I'm Warren. I'm also an entrepreneur from the bioeconomy ecosystem. I have a kind of the same question of Shachar. I'm sure that my interest lies in the team 4 of the Food 2.0, and I will also send you an email to see which point of contact is most relevant.
Okay, yeah, you can start with me, and then we'll see.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Annalena. Okay, great.
So shall we?
Yeah, we can
let-
move along to Amelia and VTT.
Okay, great. Hey, great to meet you all. So I'm Emilia Nordlund from VTT. I work there as a research manager in the area of industrial biotechnology and food. And I have a long food tech background. I have been mostly in the food research and also in the industrial biotechnology for food, so cellular agriculture related research. So I will start sharing. I will give you introduction on the, let me see also, I have not been working so much in the Zoom. Can you see it now properly?
No.
Annalena, are you still sharing your screen?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
I think we're seeing your screen.
Yeah, because it shows to me that you are screen
Yeah.
sharing.
Okay, so I'm
But,
not used to
It has
Zoom.
the stop share. Can you see the stop share?
I see
You have in the
stop
middle
video.
of the screen. Yeah, exactly.
No, that's the
Mm.
video.
Yeah,
No,
that's the video.
it's like a red button under
In the middle of the screen.
yeah, in the middle of the screen, under the photographs of all of us.
Yep, now I can see it.
Exactly,
Great.
exactly.
Now we
Great.
can see it, Amelia.
okay, perfect. So
Thank
I will short introduce VTT, then some highlights of the Finnish food RDI, and then what we are working with at VTT currently in the food tech development. So I'm not sure whether you all know VTT. So shortly, we are a government-owned research organization company actually for non-profit, and we focus strongly on the technology development and innovation. So that's really our core, and we are highly multidisciplinary. So food is only one part of the work. We are working with quantum, new energy solutions, constructions, new biomaterials, just name it. So we are highly multidisciplinary, and we are getting grant from government, but it's only small share of our budget. So we are working with the contract research, so getting money from industry and also then public funding like Business Finland, European Commission, also the other funding sources globally. So we are building our budget in that way. And our position in the food research and technology development, so we are not so much in the basic research that the universities are doing, but we are building on the excellent basic research that is coming from the universities, and we are really on the applied research and higher tier levels, and we also position ourselves there that we help them to innovate, to develop the basic research findings to the level that the private sector can then start really investing and building growth on those and making the business. So this is how we see ourselves and where we are really active, regards also to the technology readiness levels of the new findings and technologies. And we are really flexible in the way of working, and collaboration is the key, like I think all believe, and we can build various type of partnerships, joint projects, one-to-one confidential projects. We are also very active in the innovation ecosystems like the Valios Food 2.0 and also global food-related ecosystems, building new networks and initiatives for projects as well. And then how we work for the business development and increasing the technology readiness level. So of course we work a lot in the RDI projects, but then we also have various type of licensing models of VTT IP there we have a lot of activities, because although we are generating new IP and even new companies, VTT is never commercializing anything. So then we are always partnering and have different models for that. And since we are in the applied research and technology development, we have been investing and are investing a lot in the piloting infrastructure, so we can then really show that what's generated and created in the lab scale, we can move them to the industrial scale. So that's why we have been investing on the infra a lot, and related to the food and industrial biotechnology. We actually have brand new facilities in Espoo nearby Helsinki, so that is very nice, of course, and makes us, I think, convincing partner also to show that the things are scalable that we are developing. But that was about the VTT. Happy to give more insights later on if you are interested in. But then about the Finnish RDI activities. So I don't want to repeat anything Anna-Leena already told nicely about the food tech space in Finland, but maybe that was not mentioned yet, was this that Finnish government also has an ongoing program to increase the growth and sustainability of the Finnish food system, but of course the global food system. So there are set targets, and of course Finland has very ambitious targets for the carbon neutrality by 2035. So also, we all know that the food systems are a big contributor to the emissions and the climate change. So also what we can do then in the Finnish food system to make them more sustainable, but then at the same time to create business. So there are ambitious targets also there, and actually we are with Anna-Leena active in this government program to really help and think how we can make it happen. There's not too much time, so we have to have a good and sharp vision and action plan, and there is actually this vision work ongoing, and it should be launched soon. That then what is really the vision for Finland in this context. And related to the Finnish food research strategy, or actually I think it's called Food Research and Innovation Strategy, it was updated a couple of years ago, and we defined with which various research organizations, also had discussions with the other stakeholders in the field. It was published 21, and the timeline was until 35. So the focus areas of the food RDI in Finland were set, and you can see them here, and they are naturally very broad. But of course we have to think, when we are thinking about the food, it's a broad activity. So, and what I think is nice also, that we are not talking only about the sustainability in the food and feed production, but the healthiness, the safety, and the healthy and sustainable diet patterns are very important part of the activities. And clearly I feel that this healthiness and safetyness is emerging now, when there has been a lot of activities more on the environmental sustainability lately, but now seems to be that and I think it's very good that we are including also the health and safety aspect of the food production into the whole, so that then I think the whole sustainability wording is complete. And of course resource efficiency, zero waste, and innovation and leadership as a fourth point, a bit different from the bullet points above. This is something that we have discussed a lot, and positioning Finland as also as a leader and kind of a test bed for sustainable food system innovation. So we have seen that actually Finland is, as a small country and still very deep tech knowledgeable country, so we are a very good test bed for new innovations. And also related to the food, we have done studies that actually also Finnish consumers are surprisingly willing to test all the new things. So in that sense, I think Finland is also a good test bed, and because we cannot ever feed the whole world, but we can innovate and be a test bed and then export the innovations. But there is a lot of more information about this strategy, and there is a link in the slides, so if you want to have a look, and we are happy to give more details on that later on. Then just quickly about the key research organizations that are active in the food RDI in Finland. So these were also active in the building the strategy I just quickly showed. So VTT is really focusing on the tech side and innovation, like I already told you. So this is, I think we are mostly focusing maybe on these organizations on the tech and applied research. Then we have Natural Resource Institute Finland. They are focusing especially on the agriculture side, those technologies, and also environmental impacts of the food, so food production and feed production. Then we have Finnish Food Authority, more like the name said, on the authority side, and safety, a lot of safety knowledge, also regulatory knowledge, animal plant health knowledge. Then Finnish Institute for Health and Welfare, as the name says, more on the health and nutrition side. And then we have the key 3 universities that I would like to mention here, that they are educating, training people, also of course doing research, and of this University of Helsinki very broadly, but also University of Turku and Eastern Finland are active. And then of course we have many other actors, but I just wanted to pick some of the biggest players who are active. And Anna-Lena already had some of these examples of Finnish startups in the food field, and not all of these, but many of these are actually science-based, and I will come back to the VTT startups in the later stage, but we have really, I think, just to at general level mention, so we have really those type of startups that are focusing on the food tech, the hardcore food tech and food production and processing technologies, and they are here now more on the left side. And then we have this, I didn't know how to name them, so I was just putting other agri-food chain related startups that are more based on the other high-tech knowledge of Finland, like Kuvaspace and ICE-Eye, who are more on the satellite imaging and hyperspectral imaging technologies that can be used in the agri-food chain, and based on the lot of imaging knowledge Finland has and measurement technologies. Then we have also robotics-based startups, building of course on the robotics know-how Finland has, and then there are the I think on the right bottom there are more this type of service related startups, and this is not a comprehensive list, but just to give examples of the most active maybe currently these startups in the food field. Then going to the VTT food RDI activities. So really in our strategy, also trying to contribute to the carbon neutral and environmentally sustainable food system. So our focus is really to help to change the balance of what we eat and what we produced, so that we could get the food production more diverse by new innovations, especially related to the cellular agriculture and fermentation-based technologies, and then diversifying also the plant-based food production, and then by that being able to reduce the strong focus and dependency on the animal-based food production. And how we look at the increasing the diversity of protein production in food and feed. So I think it's really broad, and we should keep it broad. There is no silver bullet who can save the world. So we have to, I think this is the future, how it should be, and how the balance will be, that we should look very actively all the terrestrial, aquatic, and then the new cellular agriculture based sources, and how we can by that build the sustainable food production and feed production for future. And as part of this diversification, we are also at VTT very active in the EIT food protein diversification think tank, and we have been also contributing to the policy briefs that this think tank has been generating. Although we are working very broadly on the food system development and diversification, still we have clearly two spearhead areas at VTT where we put most of our focus in the tech development, and those are the plant-based food solutions and then cellular agriculture-based solutions. And very quickly about this, so in the plant-based food domain, we focus a lot on the ingredient separation technologies, especially to improve the cost efficacy, also the functionality of the ingredients, and then also to try to find solutions to improve the functionality of the ingredients by different functionalization strategies. Dairy and meat alternatives, of course, hot topic, but we are looking beyond those as well. Although I think in the transition phase, it's very critical to have excellent products in those categories. I will come back to the hybrid food innovations soon. Then we have the cellular agriculture. There is a lot of debate on the definition, but how we define it in Finland is that we include actually everything in the cellular agriculture. Many are considering also cultivated meat there, but we define it in such a way that also the fermentation technologies and plant cell cultures are part of that. At VTT, we are not working with animal cells at all. We're working with the precision fermentation technologies. We have excellent hosts there. Also the biomass fermentation, so using the whole cell biomass, microbial biomass as a food ingredient, and then plant cell cultures for food like cell coffee or cell cocoa and so on. And then, because VTT has a lot of competence and Finland has a lot of competence on the IT technologies, so we are, and also the measurement and monitoring technologies, so we are strongly including in the RDI, but also, of course, in the industry, then the data-driven design and manufacturing. Then just quickly some cases. So we are, like I said, we are a lot focusing on the cost efficacy of the plant-based ingredient production. So there we have also now some new innovations incubating and possibly spinning off as a new startup, a new company for a completely new way to produce plant-based ingredients. And also we believe in that we shouldn't make the isolates that are very, very actually then intensive processes regards to water and energy, but we should move to this use concentrates and less side streams and wastewater and so on. Then about the cellular agriculture cases by VTT, the 3 of these are already startups. So Solar Foods is VTT startup making microbial biomass from CO2 and hydrogen. Then we have Enifer, who is making pekilo protein. So again, microbial biomass using industrial food industry side streams. They Solar Foods have they already their factory, the demo factory up and running in close to Helsinki, and Enifer is building their factory also near Helsinki, so hopefully up and running 26. And then Onegobio is making the egg proteins based on fungal source, and then they are actually commercializing the technology in US, or they are building the factory there.
Sorry, varasin.
Okay.
Sulla ei ollut tänne varaksi.
Okay, I'm just giving a presentation, so is there a chance to?
Joo, mä voidaan pitää vaan, joo.
Okay, sorry about that. Some double bookings in the meeting rooms. So then the fourth case, I already mentioned the Cell Coffee. So it's not yet a startup company, and we can also, of course, commercialize technologies by partnering with existing industry. So that is actually something we are now thinking about, how to commercialize the plant cell culture technologies to make the impact that we are expecting them to generate. And of course, when we think about these new emerging value chains based on the cellular agriculture, there is a lot to develop still. All these boxes that are shown here, so I'm not going into the details, but this is something that we are actively looking from the upstream to the downstream and food formulation. And we were, or somebody was already commenting on the regulatory issues and consumer communication. So I think this is the whole entity has to be taking into account, and it is actively looking and collaborating and partnering for those, although we are focusing mostly on the tech side. And we have been also calculating that there is a huge potential already in Finland if we would use the side streams, for instance, in the production using these technologies. So we are making also these kind of scenario calculations. And like Anna-Lena said, there is now this ongoing activity to really make the implementation plan for Finland. How do we build the business ecosystem based on the new cellular agriculture-based technologies for Finland, and where is the biggest potential and how we should partner and move on, because this is really how we see that the map here that we believe that also regards to the food security in Europe and in Finland and decoupling the food production from the big, really globalized value chains, that this would be really more decentralized, building on the natural resources. We can really make a lot of impact and harness the whole Finland for food production also by the new technologies. And then very quickly about the hybrid foods, because we really believe that that is a great catalyzer for the required RDI and how we can facilitate the transition in the food system. So that now when we are still developing the new technologies in the celiac and fermentation-based ingredient production, when we are incorporating these ingredients to the existing ingredients, let them be animal or plant-based, so we can move faster and also get them to the market one by one, and also maybe, or we hope that by that we can also increase the awareness with the consumers and get them familiarized with these new solutions. So this is something that we really see now activating and how we can get faster to the market. And of course, when going with the hybrids, we need to collaborate, and we believe that new innovation is also then emerging when we are working at the interface of these different approaches. And I'm not going to details, but we look at very broadly the hybrid foods, like I said, combining animal-based, plant-based ingredients with the microbial biomass, precision fermentation, cultured meat, plant cell culture, even molecular farming. So it's a really diverse concept, and thinking about what makes sense depending on the products. And we have been already working with various solutions, combining meat and vegetable protein, fish with vegetable protein, and then also combining the precision fermented products, microbial lipids, proteins with plant-based ingredients to improve the sensory quality, but then also the nutritional quality. So that's also, I think, interesting approach for the hybrids. And maybe I skip some because maybe we are running out of time. I don't want to be taking too much time, but then what we want to show this, because we are then looking also into the new hybrid food production concepts. So combining plant production with the cell factories. So here is an example that we have been cultivating soybean in greenhouses in Finland and producing soybean for food as a plant protein. And then all the side streams that are coming from the greenhouses we have been using actually as a sugar and other nutrient sources in the cell factories. So we had done both the wet lab work, but also desktop study to calculate what size of factories we would need, for instance, in Finland to replace 10% of the animal protein consumed in Finland. So just to understand that, what would it mean for Finland and other countries if we are really moving to this more food without fields type of concept? And this is just actually, I will stop here. So I already mentioned some of these companies. So VTT is very active, especially in the alternative protein domain, also spinning off the technologies as new startup companies. So that's one way when we see that if we believe that we can generate the impact faster by establishing a new company compared to working with the existing industry that we do, of course, all the time as well. So I already mentioned Solar Foods, Onegobio, and Enifer, but then we have also Volare, who is building the insect production factories, and they also have already the first demo factory in Finland. And then the Happy Plant Protein that I also mentioned, that it's now incubating in the VTT Launchpad, that is the route to the new startup. So hopefully we have happy news on that new company as well. So it focuses on the plant protein production technologies. But yeah, with this, I will stop, and I'm happy to collaborate with all of you. So what I didn't maybe say is that VTT is, you mentioned the EU collaboration, and I'm actually part of the national expert group of Cluster 6 in Horizon Europe. So happy to discuss that. But of course, VTT is very active in the Horizon Europe, and we are one of the most recognized organizations who is also getting grants from European Commission. So we are very experienced partner for European Commission funded projects. So we are happy to do this kind of collaborations where also the non-EU countries could join and do collaboration. But yes, thank you.
Thank you very much, Amelia. Thank you for a very interesting presentation. Annalena, can you both share in the next few days the slides so we can share with all of the group?
Yes.
Yes.
Just a brief comment still to Emilia's the spin-off. So I just wanted to mention that you will meet in Singapore. Out of the spin-offs, 3 of those, there will be Onegobio, Enifer, and also Volare. They are coming with us to Singapore.
Amazing. Okay, so any questions for Amelia about the presentation?
I'll jump in. Thank you.
Yes.
Now I was curious about you mentioned the security aspect and how this kind of new production are able to cover up for self-sustainability, you could say, in Finland. Have you done any estimates on how that can come in play?
Well, we have calculated the huge potential even to feed Sweden actually with the Finnish side streams if we wish. But now, like Anna-Lena mentioned, that we have now we have done the calculations, we have done wet lab experiments, there is the startup ecosystem building in Finland, but now we should really start investing more and more systematically to show that, yes, it's really possible, and what is needed, thinking about the infrastructure development, thinking about the value chain development, which actors do we need, are we missing some actors in the value chain? So this is really what we are hands-on now making it more concrete also then the decision makers, funding bodies, politicians to decide and give the support if they also equally see the potential as we see for these new emerging technologies.
Interesting, thank you. Maybe I will get back to you on that one.
Yeah, sure. Happy to continue the discussion. And I believe that well, globally, but especially in Europe, we should definitely collaborate. This is not a small exercise when we are thinking about the cellular agriculture and fermentation-based industry development, because it's really building new infra. And when we are building the energy infra, hydrogen infra, I think these all come together and they should go together, because of course these are energy intensive technologies, although the sustainability implications are very positive, but we still need the energy for these new solutions.
That's true, yeah.
Great. Any other questions for Amelia?
I mean, I was a little bit curious, like what I previously asked Anna-Lena about sort of other perspectives. I mean, you're, as you mentioned, you're rather tech-driven, and the other aspects might come in place with the Health and Welfare Institute or the Luke. Are they also in innovations or R&D, those organizations, or are they? Is that also?
I would say they are, and we are, for instance, with Luke, we are all the time collaborating, and that's the only way I see also in Finland. So we all are coming to the game in a way with our best competence and knowledge. So we are including the health experts and nutrition experts and sustainability assessment experts and also the agriculture experts. That we did is not in the plant breeding, for instance, or really in the agricultural science, but then more continuing from there, or then these completely new technologies. So I think that, and we are very actively collaborating also in Finland, and we also even have this kind of research infrastructure funding and joint research infrastructure plans for Finland with these partners that I showed in the slide, that we are also looking at building the research infrastructure together and not in silos separately.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Emilia, and thank you both, Emilia and Anna-Lena, for those very interesting presentations. So we finished the session from Finland side, and for now, we're gonna stay only the members of the Earthroot group for another 2 minutes just to recap.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.